Couple questions.
I'm really happy for our guys that they found a way to gut out a win. You look at the minutes that our guys played, with only 6 scholarship guys, and Trevante Blubin must have a third long in there somewhere. He just played so hard for 39 minutes like that. Then Craig Sword did some really good things for us as far as having an assist to turnover ratio that was positive. You look at Colin Borkert, he had 10 rebounds in the first half and finished with a double-double. But just finding a way to gut out a win, and then to go in the locker room and see so many people happy for Baxter Price. He's just been an absolute warrior for us every day in practice. So the last thing I want to say is, like, you get a chance to read some things, and people are talking about we're the worst team ever in SEC history. So I guess we can't be that if we finish 13th out of 14.
The players, the players are mentioning that Denson was trying to get to the basket, was having a lot of success. You guys called timeout and said, cut off his left hand, don't let him drive left.
One correction, he wasn't trying, he was. he got to the basket every single time. And, scouting report, we told him don't let him go left. He's going left. He was coming off a pin down screen and just turning the corner and really causing problems for us defensively. So we made a couple of adjustments as far as like trying to take that away from him on the catch. But he went right, one time and had a turnover there on the baseline. But you can tell your guys with him, don't let him go left, close out short. But he is really quick, He has some fast twitch fibers there. And he caused our defense a lot of problems by getting to the paint so easily.
Sword, Borkert and Sword both had great games, obviously, but Sword, he kept the turnovers down, made some shots and hit the free throws, even though he'd been struggling at the line there.
Yeah, and I was wondering where our offense is going to come from there because we struggled there offensively in the first half. But, to our guys' credit, they did a good job defensively as well in the first half too. But, we ran some ball screen actions for Craig Sword up top early, and he got into the lane. He created offense, for himself, got to the foul line, just broke down the defense right away because we wouldn't have a lot of success in our motion. So, Craig's that guy for us that's got to be able to get into the lane and go make plays when we can't find offense.
So was this Borkert's best all-around game, you think?
That or Ole Miss, I'd have to look at tape to see, for sure. But statistically, this would be his best game, I would think.
Fred hit that big three-pointer. If I'm not mistaken, Brad might know this. I guess he hit a three-pointer to beat Tupelo a year ago tonight, the championship game. Talk about how big that shot was to set you guys up for the free throws down the stretch.
Yeah, Fred had been in the funk there. Really wasn't playing well, not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end too. Kind of just was in a funk, had his head down, really wasn't into it, wasn't bringing energy. And so for him to find a way to climb out of that funk that he was in and hit those 2 big threes for us were huge. And once he did that, he started to bring it defensively and did a pretty good job on Denson as far as like denying him from coming off that down screen. So personally for Fred, it was good for him because he had been such a slump shooting the basketball. So for him to make those 2 big threes were good. But he's got to find a way to mature and bring that energy, when he's struggling too. And he found a way. I wish he'd do it earlier, but he found a way.
Those guys making plays, you make that shot for Fred, and then go down the other end, so Rock West comes out and blocks the three-pointer to take the lead back.
Yeah, and then we almost couldn't get the basketball. It's crazy. We're in an advantage situation a lot of times in basketball, and I just want the guys to pick it up because I'm afraid they're going to turn it over or another loose ball or charge or something like that. So, our guys, we went through that 1-3-1 defense towards the end of the game there, and really were trying to deny Frankie Sullivan from getting the basketball. And it worked, but we made other people make plays, and they just didn't convert. I thought they had some good looks, but they just didn't convert.
Had some trouble feeding the post, in particular Gavin, but the guys seem like they found other ways. They hit some jump shots that haven't always fallen, and just, driving to the basket. That's what.
Yeah, Chubb's a big old physical kid, and throws his body around in there. And then number 0 is such a long kid, and now always bothers Gavin. But then Gavin did get some opportunities and just had a hard time finishing inside. But, the thing I liked about it was when he didn't have success, he went right back and got the offensive rebound and tried to put it right back in. He threw his body around some. So Gavin is coming. He's coming.
Your kid, Roquez is probably one of the quietest players on the floor. When he brings the energy he does, the other kids seem just to thrive and follow his lead.
He's been a different player since he came back from suspension. It's that simple. He's a guy that's been out there making a lot of loose ball plays, 50-50 balls, you know, he's at a disadvantage a lot of time when he's guarding in the post there and he just is fronting. So it's simple for Raquez. He has to play that way in order to be successful. If he doesn't play with a lot of energy, then he's just not a good basketball player because he's not a skilled guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of guys playing college basketball that are not skilled. Blake Griffin is not a skilled guy, but he plays hard and throws his body around. That's what Quez has had to do.
Colin talks about shooting. Sometimes he thinks too much before he takes a shot. Just talk about his ability to make that shot.
Colin thinks? Okay. All right. That's a new one on me. I don't know how detailed that is. I mean, he just needs to make shots. I mean, he's getting some good opportunities. He was, you know, brought here on scholarship to be a skilled forward, and now you're starting to see some of the things that he can do offensively for us here in this stretch against Ole Miss, South Carolina, and now. So I think that's what type of player he is. But, you know, the thing that's unfair to junior college guys is they're just like freshmen, too. They haven't played at this level. Everything is new to them. And so, like, you see those guys start to become a really good player towards the last stretch of the first year, and then they really take off their senior year. But by the end, they're gone. The same thing, you know, with high school kids coming in as freshmen. You see the biggest improvement they make is in between their freshman and sophomore season. So I think you'll see the same thing with Trevante and definitely with Colin.
How big is it for your team to get this momentum, you know, just not only going to the SEC tournament, but for a young team to finish the regular season off with 2 out of 3 wins?
Yeah, I tell you what, you just want to see your guys have some success. I mean, because I don't know if you see it on the court, but our kids play hard. And they do it every day in practice, and it's to exhaustion. I mean, and so you want to see those guys go out and have some sort of success with how hard they play in practice and how hard they play in the games. And I know we've been shorthanded here, but for those guys to continue to fight and find a way, when really, I mean, to the outside world, this game means nothing. Like, let's be, and I told our guys that. I said, you know, who cares if we finish in 13th or we finish in 14th to the outside world? But it should mean something to you to just go out and represent yourself and the university well by playing hard and trying to get wins. If you got to have an outside motivation every game instead of intrinsic motivation as far as like, I want to play well, I want to win, then you're probably not going to be successful.
How about a rubber match with South Carolina? Because it seems like the team that plays the hardest in that type of those two styles is going to win.
You know, it's a weird setup here. Like some teams you don't play twice. You know, you play a team once, and here we are. We're going to play South Carolina 3 times, and now in such a short amount of time. So, you know, I don't know. You know, Frank Martin's team, they're going to play hard. They're going to compete. You know, it comes down to us with this situation. It's like we turned the basketball over too much at South Carolina, and we simply didn't guard Brenton Williams. I mean, Brenton Williams went nuts on us. So we got to find a way to not turn the basketball over and guard Brenton Williams, and I think we'd have a chance to beat him.